Extremely shocking. Indescribable. Chapter 11:14 Luffy turned on Gear 5 to respond to St. Mercury, but was still counterattacked and showed a very rude attitude, crying. Welcome back to HIPPO TV. Previously, I also sent you some interesting spoiler information related to the latest chapter of One Piece. The details in it are only brief without too much excitement. Now, a full version of the data has been released outside, especially the fight involving Luffy and the Gorosei. Luffy had previously exhausted his energy from a piece of rotten shark meat with the extremely unpleasant smell of two giant captains to playing again with Gear 3, attacking Red Rock. Surprisingly, this punch made Luffy's entire hand numb, even though at Wano this attack caused Kaido to shy away. Indeed, St. Mercury is a very strong shield among the five elders. In fact, he doesn't have any scars on his body, completely different from St. Saturn, who was punched by Luffy in Gear 5, causing blood to pour out of his nose. St. Venus got kicked by Sanji and even vomited, or St. Jupiter was easily cut in half by giants. Then perhaps we will also briefly evaluate this elder as the most terrible among the five. Even though it has the appearance of a pig, it's a bit ugly and dirty, but it's the most resilient. The first time we saw Luffy's Gear 5 backfire, it's understandable. Saying so much is enough to make the atmosphere of this video hotter. We will have a full version of the newly updated data today. And hopefully you'll make a cup of coffee and sit down to enjoy these super hot details. Don't forget, like the video to fuel HIPPO TV to research more issues. And thank you everyone for taking your precious time to watch the video. Now let's go. Still nothing has changed. Title Chapter 11:14. The Wings of Icarus. The new part in this reveal is on the cover story related to Yamato. We thought that Yamato would have a journey to the ocean after Kinemon gave her a luggage package. But no. On this fourth page, the story about Yamato's pilgrimage is still in Wano. In the bag that Kinemon gave before, there was the sword of the late Lord Yaju, the person who was sentenced to death by Orochi in the story arc we saw in Wano. Kinemon asked Yamato to bring it back to the Enma Shrine in the Hakamai region to restore this sword to its previous state. In addition, Yamato's travel map through each location is also seen in great detail in this equipment section. Let's watch this version in full detail this week to know more. Returning to the main content of the chapter, it begins with reactions to the message that Vegapunk sent. He thought that the whole world would sink to the bottom of the ocean. At Navy headquarters, we saw many soldiers extremely panicked, and I even analyzed their psychology for you all to understand in the previous video. Among these was Chief Admiral Hina. She seemed quite worried about this bad outcome. As for Fleet Admiral Akainu, he was still serious and his face was gloomy. Switch to Water 7. Standing in front of a rising water situation in this island soul. As you can see, in just 2 years, the cities below the towers in Water 7 have been submerged underwater. This was good for Polly along with the other shipwrights who were worried. At Impel Down, Doflamingo showed a creepy smile to talk to Magellan. If the sea level rises another 5 meters, it will be as if major cities around the world will be wiped out. So we will need to move to a higher place, right? And at the palace of Fishman Island, Shirahoshi asked King Neptune what transfer happened. In response, her father said that this happened. It's really difficult. Returning to Egghead Island, outside, the Marines also heard the announcement. But many people did not believe Vegapunk's words were true. They thought he was just trying to deceive. Gorosei contacted each other, and these old men agreed that they still had to hunt down and destroy all the signaling devices placed on the island to prevent the slug from distributing and spreading information. Must destroy everything, even the smallest slug. This is the best method to stop Vegapunk from playing. What a mess. Until now, the slug distributed the triangle and was hidden without even knowing where it was. And I have some analysis of its location. I think it is hidden in the body of the ancient Iron Man who is currently waking up. Dr. Vegapunk's message continued to be distributed everywhere, saying, "To prove what I just revealed, I will make a prediction. If my prediction is wrong, then everyone doesn't need to listen to this message anymore." Immediately after that, Vegapunk made a guess that is true to what we have seen happen in the world. There was a major earthquake that took place just a few hours ago, causing the sea level to rise by at least 1 meter. Before that, Vegapunk had confirmed that he was dead. This video was recorded a few days ago. so those who heard it immediately understood that what Vegapunk surmised had already happened. Vegapunk's message is now correct. The world will sink to the bottom of the sea. Vegapunk added, "This is not a natural disaster." Moving to another area, apparently Cake Island, we see Smoothie with Mont Dior in the Big Mom Pirates to hear this playthrough. Smoothie said, "This Vegapunk is talking about the earthquake that happened this morning. But isn't he dead?" On another island being submerged by seawater, many residents had to climb out of their houses, trying to find boats to escape this dangerous area. Switching to Hakanosu, Kazan is also seen with bandaged wounds all over his body, after his battle with his former teacher, Vice Admiral Garp. Let's return to Egghead. There are no Sanji and Bonnie groups in this chapter. And the one who was urging now was not Sanji or Jinbe, but Brook. He was trying to urge Jinbe and Zoro to hurry up by screaming. The climactic fight in this part, Saint Saturn attacks Robin. But this time, Chopper turns into a defensive point to block her. While Nami shoots lightning from Zeus into Saturn's face, Lilith uses the gun to shoot at her. Of him. But Saturn responded to them, causing them to fly away. Robin used the power of Hannah's left, creating a giant hand to support his teammates, preventing them from being harmed. Saint Saturn told the other old men that he would go and deal with all the messenger slugs in the Mother Flame's storage room. So just wait a moment. Having said that, he left Nami's group there and headed to a room. And in the exact place where Mother Flame was located, Saturn had now returned to his human form. In each epic scene, we see the Mother Flame as a small flame placed in a giant water tank, and strangely, the tongue is not extinguished by the water but still burns brightly. The outside of this tank's shell has very strange symbols written on it. The first is the letter S, the dash, 108. The second is A and Mu. It seems to be a play on words by author Oda, and perhaps I will research more and find more data to send to you later. Then we also see Saturn, carrying out his words with the stick in his hand. But none of this could stop the broadcast from being transmitted to the whole world. The old man was angry. Not this either. The remaining old men impatiently shouted, "Destroy everything." Vegapunk continued, "My first sin was that with pure intentions and eternal energies for the world, I flew too close to the sun. With this, the ancient robot went somewhere unknown. The Navy outside launched fire at its body, but it was unharmed. It was super strong and stole it." Switch scene to the most exciting battle at the moment between Luffy, Dory, Groggy confronting Saint Mercury. Luffy has now transformed into his Gear 5 form for the third time and is running away. Vegapunk's speech continued as follows. To understand what is happening across our world, we must first connect with what happened between 900 and 800 years ago, the period covered by called the Void Century. Changing the scene to Mariehua Sanctuary, we also see Amu there listening with a silent whisper. Outside are some reactions of the heavenly dragon people. The character seen showing confusion on her face is Sangria, the older sister of the dastardly Charlotte. She said she had never heard anything about that empty century since she had been in the sanctuary for so long. And in Elbaf, Zawali saw was in a certain forest. He was lying down listening for news. This fellow laughed. We also see the reactions of some of the old characters at Amazon Lily. Vegapunk said, "I studied the Poneglyph books left behind by a group of great archaeologists and continued their research despite the government's ban. This is my second felony. However, I have no regrets about this." As for Edison, after jumping over the polar dome and suffering heavy damage, he is using the control room below to change the shape of the cloud, turning the Sunny's direction toward the ocean. Usopp realized this and was extremely happy. The opportunity to escape was here. Edison added, "Don't let the government catch you, Straw Hats." Vegapunk said, "History is a story. I only know an incomplete story of what happened in those 100 years, and I won't be able to fill that gap with my imagination. So from now on I will only speak the truth that I can confirm." In the final double-page spread of this chapter, we see Luffy attack Mercury again, a giant punch being thrown straight into his pig's mouth. Groggy spoke up, "Stop joking, Straw Hat. It won't work at all." Luffy replied, "No, this time it will work." Vegapunk said, "The main character in this story is a man. He was born 900 years ago in a kingdom with advanced civilization. He can fight with a tough body like Elbaf's legendary sun god." Back to Luffy's attack. It has no effect whatsoever on this pig. Even though it was so awkward, the two giant captains still calmly laughed and teased Luffy at his reaction. "Ugh, it hurts so much," Dory said. "Stop making fun of us." At the end of this chapter, we see Luffy crying in pain with an extremely funny face. While Vegapunk revealed the name of the person who was born 900 years ago, that man's name is Joy Boy. The first person on this sea was known as the Pirate. Above is the entire content of Chapter 11-14. I will also send you a detailed version later. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel to follow, and like this video to support me. For now, goodbye and see you in the next video.